All right, let's bring in Corrine Dufka. She is the director of Human Rights Watch in West Africa. Good to have you on the program with us. This attack in
Thank you.
Burkina Faso over the weekend was the deadliest in recent years, but since April, we have seen 7 major attacks in quick succession. What's happening with the security situation in the region?
Well, there's been a steady deterioration in the entire Sahel, and here we're talking specifically about Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And the conflicts and the violence are inextricably linked. This is the latest massacre by armed Islamist groups linked to either Al Qaeda or the Islamic State that we have seen since January 2021. I am currently investigating the killing of 500 civilians by these groups in those 3 countries. So this is the latest major atrocity by these groups.
And recently, France suspended its military ties with Mali over the coup. Does that further threaten stability in the region?
Well, indeed, the 3 countries are linked because if there is an effort in Mali, then often the jihadists will cross over into northern Burkina Faso. This area in the east is very vulnerable. It's typically been an area in which the Islamic State has operated. And there's a similar dynamic to these atrocities by the Islamists, which we have documented. And that is that they are targeting, in fact, local civil defense groups which have formed to try to protect their villages, often in the absence of an adequate or sufficiently robust response from the security forces. So the jihadists quickly overpower these small groups of civil defense, and then they engage in collective punishment against members of the villages in question for their perceived support of the government forces.
In the case of Burkina Faso, why is the military not able to provide security to the region despite help from French and U.S. troops?
Yes, there is a tremendous amount of international support. I mean, to be fair to the security forces, it's difficult to be everywhere at all times. I mean, this attack started at 2 a.m., lasting until about 5 a.m. So it's hard for them to be everywhere, and that in part is why they are forming these local self-defense groups. But we would call on there to be even more robust civilian protection mechanisms to try to to try to identify where there are large groups of armed Islamists who could engage in attacks against the population. And of course, we have also for years called upon the security forces to engage in a rights respecting counterterrorism response.
And with increased attacks like this, what does that mean for the humanitarian situation in the Sahel region as people are forced to leave their homes because of these attacks?
Oh, it's terrible. As your correspondent noted, there are over 1 million displaced in the Sahel region now. We've had, a very worrying situation with regards to food security. Indeed, there has been famine in certain areas. So, and education has been disrupted for several years, and increasingly so. And now these groups are threatening to attack and to engage the security forces and to destabilize countries further afield than just Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. They're moving into Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin. So we urge there to be a balanced counterterrorism response, which balances military effect with development, and again to ensure that the counterterrorism response is rights respecting, because otherwise it just pushes more and more people into the hands of the jihadists.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Corrine Dufka, thank you so much for your time.